Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Toe, Global Head of Insurance at Salesforce. It's a pleasure to have Brad Rutta, Chief Digital Transformation Officer of Generali North America. And we've got Mike Fuhrmann, Chief Marketing and Customer Officer at Generali Switzerland.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
well,
Thank you.
thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jeff.
Tell us about your role and what Generali is.
I'll go first. So I'm the Chief Digital Transformation Officer, which really encompasses the entire customer experience as a whole, as well as leading marketing and communications throughout the organizations of North America. We have 5 different business lines currently in North America today, and our purview is over the entire experience.
Got it.
As Chief Marketing Officer in Switzerland, I represent at Generali actually 3 functions. So on one hand, I'm responsible for the market management to be the single point of contact for the digital transformation of all the marketing-facing activities that we're doing, closing the loop to sales and service. And on the second hand, with the customer in my title, I also represent the customer voice. So that is, we're doing all the NPS studies, all those things, listening to the customers, see how we can embed it in product improvements, and that's my role in general.
Can you tell us a little bit about Generali? Because a lot of folks may not be aware of just how big that business actually is.
So that's what we need to change.
So Generali is a large global multinational insurer. We are in 60 different countries today with 71,000 employees globally.
Got it.
And Generali is also, the headquarters of Generali is in Italy, in Milan.
Got it.
And with that, it's actually the biggest employer in Italy.
Wow.
So it's a huge, huge company.
So this conversation is really fascinating to me because both of you represent digital transformation initiatives that are taking place in different regions. And I'm very interested to know about how insurers balance between the regional differences and the need for global scale, the need for best practices to be shared and cross-pollinated across regions. Brad, could you walk us through just a project that you're working on that's getting you really excited?
Yeah, so our projects tend to take shape based off of what they can do across business lines, and then we look at globally, have other countries or other Generali groups done something similar where we can take expertise or even leverage that system as a whole. So we're working on virtual agent. It's something that we're trying to roll out across all business lines and across the organization holistically. We've been able to take a lot of things that have been done in other countries, France, Italy, and then bring them over here and make sure that we can leverage that scale.
Got it. Mike?
Yeah, for us it's similar. So Generali Switzerland is a very important region for the group in Italy. As we are a very small market, as we are a market with a high income and a very high quality of life. And also seen as a very innovative market.
Right.
So there are plenty of initiatives in Switzerland that also put Switzerland in the place for trying to build a Silicon Valley outside of the United States.
Right.
So you have a lot of startup empowerment there. And this is something that we also take then in our role as being an innovator for the whole group.
So it seems like the initiatives that you guys have in each of your regions is driven out of the need to be more customer-centric. And we spoke earlier about a global initiative that Generali has to get everyone to use NPS scores, Net Promoter Scores. Can you talk about how that translates within the North America region?
Sure, yeah, just like Mike said earlier, NPS drives what decisions we're going to make. So the customer is the focus. Whether that's product or technology improvements, we're doing everything we can in terms of making that customer experience a better one for them.
And what is your approach to customer centricity? I mean, if for those leaders who are watching this, what's the first step in driving customer centricity in the organization?
You know, for me, I always say you look at the customer touch points and you find out where they're divided, whether they're a communication gap, a service gap, a product gap, or a technology gap. And from that, your roadmap will naturally progress,
Right.
and you'll be able to unfold and meet those customer demands as well as improve your business.
So Brad is referring to the customer journey
Yeah.
and understanding that customer journey. What approach do you use in Switzerland?
It's with NPS exactly the same. Maybe to add to Brad's comment, we also have then totally within the group our regular calls where we can exchange experiences. The customer also is in the center of everything that we do. And what is also very, I feel, quite special in our market is that all those Kluper calls that you do to really listen into call customers back after they gave us feedback in the NPS, and this is something that also everybody from top management has on their agenda. So everyone with a C in front of his title needs to do at least 3 to 5 calls per month
Got it.
to really feel what the customer has up to. So not just calling the guys who are rating us and our promoters and giving us a 10, but also calling the more difficult cases to really understand what is the essence of that.
Mike, how does Salesforce enable this transformation?
So for me, in terms of the digital transformation, Salesforce, I'm a huge Salesforce ambassador since years, and I'm not saying that here this is a Salesforce conference, also when I worked in other companies. And actually when I heard, so I recently joined Generali, so I'm quite newbie there, but if they wouldn't have, Salesforce was for me one of the triggers to say, hey, okay, then I can do that with Generali, because after I heard that we licensed the whole package in Switzerland, and also discussed with the group, and the group said, okay, everything that we do on a local level or a regional level in Switzerland, and that becomes a success case, we are going to roll out.
Got it.
And so there is a big expectation now to do that. And what the work with Salesforce for me means is, on one hand, we need to use those skills of the digital transformation, the thing that we can measure everything on every single touch point, doing this via the whole downstream process, so from marketing to, or even from what's going on in the cloud, in social channels, turn it into marketing, then sales, distribution, to the claims, close the loop there, see really what comes out of that. Because my purpose as a marketeer is, I don't want to spend money like I did a couple of years ago when you were a brand marketeer and somebody gave you money for a campaign, and then you said, okay, so how was the campaign in the end? You say, yeah, it was nice. And marketing was always seen as a cost center.
Right.
And using those tools that are nowadays available can turn marketing into a profit center, and actually the same with the IT infrastructure, which is also complete underrated. Everybody hates IT in a company, but this is the backbone. This is actually this is our enabler.
Right.
If we have that system right, we can massively grow.
Right. Brad, you also have a pretty long history in the use of Salesforce. Looking back at that experience, what advice would you give to global insurers as they seek to standardize their system of engagement platform across regions?
So I've had like Mike, I've had a long history with Salesforce too, and I've been a huge advocate of the platform. I've seen it go from a CRM, a sales CRM, into a holistic engagement platform for the end customer. And being able to see the growth of the platform has allowed us to start to see new ways that this could mean for an insurance. Traditional policy and claims admin systems don't do what a CRM can do.
Right.
Therefore, when you start to overlay that and wrap it in and make it part of your platform holistically, you create that engagement that you need with the end customer. So for us, every time that we're looking at how does the customer get the experience change, we start looking at what does the system need to do to be able to deliver that for the end user. And that's where Salesforce comes in.
Right. In previous sessions, we talked about the concept of transparency, personalization, and being value-adding to customers.
Right.
What are some of your thoughts on the best way to execute on that in the world of insurance?
Customers have an expectation. We as insurers have to deliver on that. And that comes down from everything to what they're buying to how quickly we're paying. And I think as insurers, we we tend to convolute the entire process. It's really simple for a customer. They expect great service and fast claims payments. If we can boil it down for that and make our systems do that and our companies deliver that, we'll have a lifetime value with that customer.
Mike, what do you
and
think?
I think this is a global approach, so this doesn't change no matter where you are. I think it's really important if we are able to listen to the customer and are able to their needs and change with the customer and their demands. I mean, the customer has changed over the last years from being the target of big corporates who just saw them, okay, we need to sell, to a demanding equal person.
Got it.
And this is also why I said yesterday in our discussions that our competitors are not other insurance companies. Our competitors are actually every single customer-centric experiences that people carry on apps in their pockets. So let's say, just for an example, Uber. Uber shows how seamlessly a transaction can be. It's completely transparent, right? And the customers, they know it's working there, and it's completely unclear why is that not working for my insurance. Or if I put it to an insurance case, I know exactly where my package is at DHL. If I order something,
Right.
or if I order something at Amazon. If I now have a life insurance, for instance, why is it for me not transparent if what is the amount of money that I just have at that right moment when I need it, right? Or where's my claim? When is the thing coming? When will I get paid? And these are things which are actually for me basics. And if we're not able to deliver that to the customer in real time in such a way how the customer expects that, we don't belong to the table.
Given that you have two different digital transformation efforts that are happening in your respective regions, how do you cross-pollinate best practices globally? What are the ways in which you do it?
So Generali has made a investment in bringing on leaders like myself and Mike. So what we're trying to do is unify those efforts, creating committees and boards across regions, companies, product lines, and other things where we can share those experiences.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mike, any thoughts?
No, I can fully agree to that.
Okay.
So this is exactly what we
right.
do.
Well, very good. Brad Rutta, Chief Digital Transformation Officer of Generali North America. Mike Fuhrmann, Chief Marketing and Customer Officer of Generali Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining us at Dreamforce.
Hey, thanks,
Appreciate
Jeff.
it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.